Manisa Saruji. I'm from Brand Geeks Inc. And with me today, I have Manminder Dhillon, also known as MK, from Publicity IO. And Sembang Marketing Tech is live. Hi, MK. Really nice to see you again after so long. I think this year we both have been very, very busy. So I thought perhaps we could start off with talking about the new name. So Super Newsroom was the old name, and you guys have rebranded this year. Maybe you want to share a bit more about Publicity IO and what's in the change of name.
Hi, Manisa. Thank you so much for having me once again. And congratulations for the second installment of Turbocharge Live. That's I'm sure going to be rocking triple times this year. So yeah, we have rebranded from Super Newsroom to Publicity.io, and we hope that the new name will definitely resonate better. People will immediately know that this is it, this is the platform for publicity. Previously with Super Newsroom, there was a bit of like it did well. Of course, it was accepted very, very well by the target market, but people still thought it was something more for newsrooms. So yeah, so we are hoping that with the new name, the new logo, brand identity, we can help more startups, more SMEs with the same mission. Mission is the same, to help startups, SMEs to get publicity with a single click.
I think, but I find it interesting that you have changed your name, but then your mission is still the same. It's still about getting brands in the news, right? So when we talk about brands, right? Can you share with us? Do you just cover big brands, or is Publicity.io a brand for the masses?
Well, I like what we have done recently. I mean, those changes that we have implemented, for example, the whole pay as you go. We have put in an e-wallet now. So it's credit based. Basically, they purchase a certain number of credits. Each credit is 2 ringgit. So pay as you go. Whenever you want to use any of those services in the platform for your PR, for your publicity. So that actually is suitable for mainly smaller organizations. They don't have to put aside a huge budget, a huge subscription fee for their for their PR campaigns or their marketing campaign in a way. So
Yeah.
we are helping that segment. But then we also have packages, a la carte media, guaranteed coverage, where the larger companies
Mm,
can plan an entire PR campaign
mm,
by purchasing those packages in
mm,
the platform itself. And the coolest
mm,
part is we are a guaranteed coverage platform.
mm, mm,
So like Grab, when you go in, you want to order from a restaurant, you pick your restaurant. So here you pick the media, add to
right,
cart, upload
right,
your press release, and check out.
right. We are familiar with Super Newsroom. We've tried using the app before. I found it very, very convenient in the sense that there were all these options that we could choose from. So if you're a business that wants to explore a different market, or even a different news desk, it helps that you can just do it from a click of a button. I saw that in Super Newsroom. So in terms of the user interface, when you talk about the rebranding, it's still the same. It's still the same, right? The
Uh,
people can, or are there going to be like enhancements that we can look forward to in publicity
Yeah,
right?
yeah, just some spectacular, I would say spectacular. But
Okay.
also, thank you. You were one of the early adopters, early supporters of Super Newsroom. We met long, long time ago at your office,
Hmm.
and we came there to do a demo. So yeah, the enhancements are specifically on ease of use. So
Mm-hmm.
it's easier now. It's direct.
Mm.
Previously, it was more of a media database where
Right.
you select and you blast your press release. As I
Right.
was saying earlier, it's very much like a guaranteed coverage platform, and it also
Mm.
has a talent marketplace. And I think this is
Right.
also a cooler feature. So
Right.
mainly three new enhancements. The first one is that now it's credit based. You can top up your credits, purchase a service, and go. You know, and the credits are only deducted if the media chooses to publish your story.
Okay. So you don't get deduction just by sending. You actually it gets deducted when they pick up the story.
They publish the
Okay.
story.
They publish
So
the story. Okay.
yes, yes. So
Okay.
once it goes to the media,
Hmm.
the media clicks approve. Like, okay, I'm going to
Hmm.
publish this story. For example, I
Hmm.
am Digital News Asia, which who is also one of our partners. So yes, this content is good.
Yep.
Click approve, and only then the credits are deducted. So again, I would still
Ah.
use the similar concept of Grab. Like for example, you order food, and if the restaurant accepts your order, only then your
Yep.
card or your credits are
Right.
deducted. But if they
Right.
don't, they hold
Right.
that amount first.
Right. Right.
So we did the same concept, and that's feature number one. So feature
Hmm.
number two is the talents.
Hmm.
We hope to work with more gig platforms in the near future,
Ah.
but
Okay.
currently it's
Right.
only having talents from Intellect Asia. So, and
Right.
our pool of freelancers. So we have writers, we have translators, we have virtual PR where you can actually pay 100 credits
Okay. Okay. Okay.
and get
That's
PR
great.
advisory.
So like for our clients who don't have a writer or doesn't have somebody that can write a press release, that means they can actually reach out to one of your giggers and then get that done so that they can distribute to media. Okay, that's good. I just wanna share about our experience last year. Daniel, can we share the PR value that we got last year for Turbocharge Live 2021. Yep. So I got to share this. I really have to share this because this was such an amazing experience for Brand Geeks. We have this is for the first time when we went out to get media coverage for Turbocharge Live. Actually, we have been covered by media before. But it's just that because it was always us being part of events organized by other conference organizers. But this is the first time where we're doing this for ourselves. And we got 70,000 ringgit worth of PR value. And we got covered by the economy and tech sections, which are relevant to the marketers and the marketing technopreneurs that we're trying to reach out to. So that was such an amazing experience last year. I'm looking forward to 2022 how that's going to be like because like what MK mentioned earlier, this year we're coming in with a lot more I wouldn't say firepower, but with a big bang, I guess you can say that. But from last year to this year, MK, I just want to bring back to our topic because we're talking about PR versus viral marketing, right? So this is the baseline for Brand Geeks. Thank you, Daniel. You can share. You can stop sharing. So that's our baseline this year. So I think a lot of people like to use this word virality or viral a lot. They say, I want to go viral with this promotion. If you go viral, then you're successful. So I just want to clarify on that before we talk about how, for 2022, Brand Geeks can actually look at a lot more enhancement in our PR approach. What is the difference between publicity and viral marketing in the first place? Maybe you can help clarify on that. In fact, I'd like to even extend that to PR. Is that public relations or press release? And how does media coverage comes into this? Can you like help clarify on that?
Okay, okay. So thank you for the question. I think it's like okay, I'll do like a sort of like a PR 101, and also for the benefit of the audience as well. So I can start with like, I'll take your second question first, which is PR. So when we talk about PR, is it public relations or is it press release? So unfortunately, both, the short term is PR. So sometimes people get confused. PR ni public relations or press release. So public relations, of course, is the bigger entity of it, the bigger picture of it, right? So public relations consists of, you have media relations underneath it, you have crisis communications, you have digital PR, then you have investor relations. So those are the subcomponents of PR. And press release comes as more of a media relations activity.
Right.
So PR, the bigger umbrella is public relations, then underneath the subcomponents. So under media relations, then you have press release, even for crisis. So a press release is more like the strategy to get your news out. Macam
Right.
the car that takes you from one destination to another, that's press release. Of course, then you
Okay.
can use media interviews, you can use press conference. So it's a tactic, a strategy that to get your story out.
Mm.
Press release always becomes the most cost effective way, and very advantageous because you can control the message.
Mm.
Going for a live interview might not be something for a startup or an SME first to do, because they might not be familiar with the
Mm.
line of questioning, and so start with press release, sending out a press release first. So
Mm.
then we go to the concept of publicity versus viral marketing.
Yep.
So the reason why I was discussing with you earlier about when we were coming up with the topic,
Yep.
why I was very keen to bring this out there, is that being a PR practitioner these days, we sometimes get question like, you know, so much of social media out there. We have TikTok, we have Instagram, we have Facebook. So why do we still need media?
Yeah.
Why do we still need a publicity in the media? I can get double, triple my sales, in all these sites, and I can make crazy videos and see. Well, I want to bring this to attention that it's actually synergistic. It's together,
Mm.
both are together. But you cannot remove one and say only this works, or the other remove it and only this works. So they have to work hand in hand.
Right.
So viral marketing, being viral out there, great. You can put your content out there, try to get, but it comes back to the concept of marketing. You
Mm.
see an ROI. But PR, on the other hand, it's brand building. It's a reputation management. It takes
Mm.
your it takes your story many layers, and
Yep.
it resonates with different target market, different audiences. And the best part about PR or publicity, one is that it creates credibility, right?
Right.
You still want to go to a website and see TechCrunch, Digital News
Yeah.
Asia,
Yeah.
Forbes, and you go like, hey, you know what? They've been covered by these publications. They
Yeah.
are reputable.
Yep.
I would definitely subscribe to this service. You don't see as seen in TikTok, Instagram. So media gives you that credibility.
Yep.
It gives you that validation. It and it becomes that source of content. So this is what I was doing a few weeks ago when I met a group of PR practitioners from hospitals. So
Mm.
same concept. They were like, we can put our doctors on TikTok and get them to do
Yeah.
something fun and engaging. But why don't that becomes an extension of a
Mm.
campaign, rather than that's the only thing that you want to do? Because
Mm.
that could only resonate with a certain target audience, but not
Mm.
your overall audience. And it's
Mm.
always an extension. So coming up with story ideas
Yep.
often then can be channeled on various media,
Mm.
and of course publicity, in my opinion, is definitely synergistic with any sort of marketing activity that you're going to be doing.
I guess to me, when you talk about publicity, because number one, from a user, from a business point of view, it's not easy to actually be covered by media, because you have to have the story that you're interested in, and you have to have the credibility. For example, like when I was helping a client quote to get media coverage we did that last month, right, with a few media, and with Digital News Asia. Karam is very strict about what goes in, and he
Yeah.
even went down to, can I have the picture of the founder, the investor, what's the full name of the investor. He really deep dives into the facts of it. He even asked us for a copy of the article that we cited in the press release. And I found the process as actually, very very interesting, because that strictness and that I guess the curiosity that he had in the information that we were giving
Mm,
actually meant that whatever that goes into Digital News Asia has a high level of credibility. So for people, they trust DNA for the coverage, and especially investors, they look to DNA for information about tech companies which are investable. And in fact, out of the media coverage that you guys helped quote with, they got I think two or three inquiries. They had two phone calls actually already, or if I'm not mistaken, three, where they had to pitch. One was in the middle of the night because I think it was a US company. But that credibility, the credibility of the journalists actually helps business, because their word their word can be taken seriously by the parties who actually read their write up, their editorial about you. Whereas when you talk about viral, it's about popularity, right? If somebody has like maybe 20, 30,000 followers, and then that person says something that the followers would take, and then share out to their network, so that is what viral means. So
mm,
it could be, in fact, it could be a case where that person gets coverage in the news, and then people share. So
yep.
so it could be viral as follow through from publicity, instead of it being a viral marketing, right? But like nowadays, I always tell people that social media is basically the new internet, right? And then sometimes I think this is where fake news leverages on the belief that whatever that's in social media is true. So
Yep.
so how do you kind of like manage that balance where you want people to still kind of get the best out of social media, but at the same time still uh, you know uh, create that credibility for their brand using publicity? What would you say, MK? How do you strike the balance?
Well, it's we always believe one thing, right? Content is king. So when content is created, so it then is spread on various platforms, various medium.
Mm.
So all these medium are there, like social media, uh, and mainstream media. That will never that will always change.
Mm.
Like few years ago, Facebook was huge. That was the people used to then create content that suits the consumption of the target audience of Facebook. Then
Mm.
Instagram now it's huge. So now people are creating content for Instagram. I mean for the consumption. But the root of everything here is actually content. And
Mm.
if we create powerful content
Right.
that resonates with our target audience, we
Yes.
always try to, I always talk about reverse engineering the process.
Mm.
So it's like looking at which audience that you want to target, which platform, and then coming back to the type of content that fits that.
Mm.
Instead of we saying like, hey, we have this coming up, let's now create content and just and then put it on all platforms. It never works.
Mm.
It used to, because we had very limited mediums. So it was like, hey, push it out there. But today, everything is so fragmented.
Yeah.
Everybody consumes. differently. And
Yeah.
this is, I think, one of the game changers for a PR practitioner now. PR
Mm.
practitioners these days have to be super creative.
Yeah.
Like as you said, we have to strike a balance between
Yeah.
mainstream media, what goes on mainstream media, what goes on a TikTok platform, what goes out on Instagram, what
Mm.
makes our news searchable and number one on the first page of Google,
Right.
even to that extent. So
Mm.
right now, PR people are more of, I would say, marketeers, social media experts as well. So
Right.
yeah,
I,
and this is
I, I
something that I've been
yeah,
talking about many years ago. I said PR people can never just be PR. You have to bring
yeah,
in digital
yeah,
marketing already.
yeah, yeah. I'm actually seeing that that movement actually in PR agencies. I'm seeing that you guys are not just sticking to traditional media. Your I mean like publicity.io is basically disrupting that. You're even disrupting the access to traditional media, and then I'm seeing that there's movement in the sense that there's a I think most PR agencies now are starting to like cover social media as well. That means you're able to cover the copy and then the visuals for social media. And here it got me thinking about the generational differences, because you were talking about how now everything is fragmented. People are consuming data very differently, consuming content very differently. Because if I go back to the different ranges of generations we have. So you got your 50 to 59 and above. I'll just lump them up as a group and above. And then you got your 40 to 49 who tends to catch on to things that evidently other people are using as well. It's
Mm-hmm.
like they're the type that would like when they want to go to a kedai kopi, right? If got ramai orang, then they will go. If not so many people, then they will go, right? Then you've got your 30 to 39, 30 to 39 who are like that follows the trend a lot. So you find that Instagram tends to capture a lot of the latest trend to cover the 30 to 39-year-old, and your 20 to 29-year-old, um, and I'd say Gen Alpha, which is younger than them, tend to consume even shorter span type of content. Videos cannot be too long, so that's why TikTok works for them. And
Mm-hmm.
then even visuals, it has to be easy to consume the information. It cannot be like something that has a lot of text. So from the PR evolution perspective, right? How are you keeping up with the changes in the generations, since their consumption of content is also changing? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's true. It's good, and it's going to change. It's not
Mm.
going to be this, right? It's going to be interesting in terms of how it's going to change and evolve. And the best part of PR people, we are so adaptable.
Mm.
We have been, creating content, giving out content for many aeons, right? So we're
Yeah.
going to be doing that, and nothing for us is like, hey, this is out of the box. We just keep moving on with the times. Like for example, right now we
Mm.
have agencies that
Mm.
rely on backlinks. So for
Right.
example, traditionally we used to just use PR value. So you say, hey, you got this coverage, this is the PR value, and that's it. So now we have agencies that actually request for a specific media that has the highest
Mm.
amount of click rates, high
Ah.
CPO,
Right.
and there is an additional tool that measures that, and then they go like, okay, you know what, I want, clients, I want only this type of media, which
Mm.
gives me the best results.
Right. Right.
So it's like things that we could, it was just like we just used to pitch stories, come up with great story ideas, and that's it.
Mm.
Now we have to think, as I said, reverse engineer the process.
Mm.
Whatever the target audience of the client is,
Yeah.
we look at where these target audiences are. So for
Right.
example, if we get a fashion brand that's
Right.
targeting, the millennials, so where
Right.
are they? Obviously they're
Right.
not reading NST anymore.
Right.
So they could be on Instagram. So from
Yeah.
there, then, content, so that's consumable for that.
So we were talking about the consumers, the brands, their consumers or their B2B. So we got B2C and B2B clients. But what about the media themselves? I would imagine that even media is getting more and more of the younger generation type of journalists. Because at the end of the day, I find that when we write the press releases, we need to be engaging or be interesting or relevant to them. So, any pointers about trying to engage with the younger journalists, your Gen Z, Gen Y journalists?
Well, I would say everywhere it's like Gen Z, Gen Y kind. I think mostly the tech startup has more of that Gen Z, Gen Y sort of thing.
Mm,
You
mm,
still have a bit of the baby boomers are still part of the some of the other publications.
mm,
Again, I believe one thing,
mm.
content is king.
Okay.
So it's how your content
Mm.
should make sense, should have an impact on the audience.
So
So
focus on that.
the media is only a medium.
Okay.
Whether they are Gen Y, Gen Z, Gen X, that is
Mm,
secondary. The primary purpose of us is to ensure that the audience that consumes the news of that publication is impacted by your story. So
mm.
only then they would pick up your story. So that makes a difference.
Got
Um,
it. So whatever it is, focus on the audience, because at the end of the day, media has to make sure that the stories will reach the audience in the first place. So we have the same focus in that sense, lah. All right.
yes,
Um. So so
their
so
audience. So their
their
audience
audience.
will be happy.
Right.
Then
Right. Right.
only then they would say, hey, you know what? I want to cover turbocharge because it makes sense to my target audience.
Mm.
So
Okay.
something
Okay.
like giving an example like Siakap Keli,
Mm.
um, who are their audience? So
Mm.
why would turbocharge make an impact on that audience? So we have to then
Right.
come up with an angle that fits that audience compared to a digital news Asia audience.
Mm. Mm. So one of the marketing tech tools that we use is Data Voyager, and with Data Voyager, apart from being able to look at the persona analytics, we're actually able to generate ad sets for Facebook and also book ref media ads. And I do notice that from the persona that we select when we try to book the ref media ads using the ref ads manager in Data Voyager. Uh, the matching of the persona, I noticed that it does change when it goes to the media side, because of course on the media side, they have their definition of their eyeballs, right? And then one of the factors that they use when it comes to I guess instructions that they get from business when they want to book their ads, they would get us to choose the purchase intent, because I guess the argument is that when a person looks up a certain media, they are of a certain age, of a certain interest, and then they would look for a certain type of either products or services on those media as a purchase intent, and that allows businesses like us and our clients to be able to get on the right media. But
Mm-hmm.
in that case, we are looking at putting our either medium rectangle or social posts or a mobile sticky bottom onto the media platform. But when you talk about publicity, because yours is more in terms of editorial, right? Yours is editorial, whereas theirs is advertising, and these
Yes,
two things are different. But
yes,
for a brand, they could actually use both. Um,
yes.
but in terms of the conversion path, I would say by using publicity, you are actually featuring your brand with a story. You need to have a story. Whereas when you're using something like ref ads, whilst I guess the psyche is similar in the sense that we gotta catch on to the right platform that reaches to the targets that you're going for. But for like something like Rev Media, essentially they are looking at maybe a feature. I call it a billboard poster actually,
Mm-hmm.
because even like media on digital is like a highway. because people will just like scroll until they find something that is interesting. So they have that particular spot, and then people click on it. They're taken to either their website, your website, or maybe your social media for social posts. But in the case of Publicity, it's very very interesting for me because you can say a lot more, because even if the space they give to you is not that much. Because I remember last year our PR write up was a lot longer, but some of them just took like one paragraph, one short bit, and they didn't take exactly, they didn't like copy and paste. What they
Yeah.
would do is they would take it and they would put it in a way that makes sense to them, that makes sense to their reader. Am I reading this correctly? Am I explaining this correctly?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
So I think at the end of the day, we're back to content. That was the point that MK made. That is always the part that you need to settle. If let's say you want to go for media coverage, you want publicity, you have to have a story. And then I remember last year in your masterclass, you gave a guide about how to make the story newsworthy. And I think for businesses out there, even if you are using somebody else to write for you need to appreciate that, right, MK? Because I think if businesses don't make it a point to learn about how to make a story newsworthy, they'll be dependent on the quality of service provider that they are using, which I think it's not good, because what if you don't get a good quality service provider, right? Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe some tips about how to choose a good resource. Because just now you were saying like you've got gigas, right? Maybe some tips about how to choose the right resource to write your press release.
Of course, looking for a writer is like sometimes finding a needle in a haystack. It's really that difficult. It
Yeah,
is. You
yeah,
need to find a writer that one
yeah.
has that same how to say, the brand love, instead of just a
Ah,
churn master. You don't want someone who
hmm,
just sits down and say, okay, I'm giving you 5 points, okay, churn it out for me. And we very fortunate that the writers that we selected, so in a way we are not opening up the platform that we have 1,000 people coming, not like other freelance based platform.
right.
All the freelancers that we have
Yeah.
been part of us from the very beginning, and they have been
Ah,
filtered to ensure that they provide top quality write-ups. So most of them have been former journalists, and I think that's also one of the key criteria, that former
hmm,
journalists. But
hmm,
always another pointer is like not necessarily good journalists are good writers. So they need to balance it
hmm.
up.
Right,
That if you're a good so tak semestinya, oh, okay, I've been a journalist for 15 years and I can write an amazing article. No, journalists
right.
mainly are hunters, but of course being a journalist is advantageous for them,
Yeah,
for us
yeah.
as well. So that's one of the key things, that the people that we have on board have been carefully selected, have been filtered out. They know what we want for the clients through them. So
Right.
they do that for us.
So you're like the gatekeeper. Oh no, I wouldn't want to use that. That sounds very negative. You make sure you filter. You don't just take anybody. You will actually make sure that the gigas that you take on are good quality ones, so that
Yes.
for businesses, when you choose any of the gigas or request any of the gigas in Publicity IO, they have that comfort that this is good quality. So it's really about just focusing on getting the say the PR write up out for media.
Yes.
Um, I I want to move on to another area of uh, brand promotion that I'm finding is happening a little bit more frequent than before.
Mhm.
So as you know, Facebook is very very sticky about a lot of things. Their advertising policies, for example, is very very it's very detailed and very long and very rigorous. And one of the things that they look out for would be uh, brands that pass on as a brand that's been around for a long time. So when they see that your account is new, and then suddenly you've got like all these postings, and then you're suddenly like you have this like really really perfect or nice brand,
Mm-hmm.
that looks so established, but Facebook has not heard from you before, then they would restrict the account, so the business will not be able to advertise. Okay. Um, so when it comes to PR, okay, there's something that I'm trying to get to here. Just bear with me. So Facebook is kind of like doing that to control fake brands that so they're so good at doing design and doing creatives that they can appear to be a proper brand, but actually they don't exist, right? So
Mm.
from a PR perspective, right? How do you do that? I mean, how do you filter out those kind of brands? Do you filter out those kind of brands before you actually disseminate the press release? What kind of crack check and stuff like that do you do to make sure that they exist?
Well, the process is pretty thorough. That not anybody and everybody
Mm,
can get publicity. We ensure that the communication process prior to onboard them is very
mm,
much open. So, for
mm,
example, uh, you have companies that who want to be part of it. They share their press release. We have companies that are doing cryptocurrency. We have companies that are online brokers. We have you name it. We have had some companies that do that. So obviously we know that dependent on the editorial policy of many sites. One
mm,
of the largest cryptocurrency trading platform, recently
mm.
contacted us through a partner in Turkey, and we have to reject because we do our fact checking first as well.
Mm,
So that's one. But however, knowing that the platform is open and anybody
mm,
can register and send,
mm,
so then
mm.
the onus is on the media to reject or approve.
Right. They have
So
to do their own crack checking as well, lah.
exactly.
Right, right.
So even though we take more of the offline company, so for example, a company does not want to go online to the platform and register and send,
Mm,
they want
mm.
us to do it for them. So we have that offline option as well. So we then
Right.
be the gatekeepers. But if they do it directly, then the media themselves will do the
Yeah.
thorough checking and reject
But
it
right,
according.
right. Because I've seen some of these brands. I mean, they're not fake. They're not fake, but sometimes they make claims that may not be suitable for public awareness. So I've seen them go on TV. They've got money. They've got a lot of money, right? They can
Mm,
afford to get media coverage,
mm,
and this is where I guess it does touch on ethics, media ethics. I guess your point that at the end of the day, it's media that needs to decide what they can and cannot accept. They need to
exactly.
do fact checking. But for Publicity IO, where people approach you personally, then that is where you would do the fact checking as well,
Exactly.
right?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. All right, so we've got Prakash Tiru that wanted to say nice, congratulations. I guess Prakash, you wanna congratulate for the rebranding that Publicity.io had, and then we have one question. Okay, let me flash that out. Okay, so Lutfi wants to know, can you share some tips of how to keep your content or PR still relevant, even though your demographic is constantly changing over time? I think there's a missing T there. Yeah. So over to you, MK.
Okay, thank you so much for the question. So, as our mantra is that it's your content, right? Content is king.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
whether your demographic is changing all the time, then you have to, of course, create PR strategies that suit your demographic. One size does not fit all.
Mm,
As I was sharing earlier, if you are Petronas, for example, I always give the example of Petronas. Petronas has
mm,
a huge demographic, huge target audience. It's crazy. They have the Settle app that's targeting a lot of the young generation who are into apps. Then they have their investors, they have their shareholders, they have the local communities. So their demographic being very extensive ultimately boils down to one thing. what's your objective for your demographic. So whether your demographic changes constantly, unfortunately, we have to be flexible there. That
Yep.
will happen, and
Yep.
strategize accordingly in terms of whatever content that fits your demography. And I think also, if I just may add, platforms are also evolving to reach those target audience.
Hmm.
TV used to be a huge thing 10 years
Yep.
ago. TV is no
Yep.
more there. Now it's
Hmm.
all about online, about
Hmm.
different channels. So
Yep.
we have to be adaptive and try our best.
Okay. I think I just want to ask, as a follow through from Lutfi's question, um, how frequent can a person run a PR campaign? Every week, every month, every half year? I don't know. What would you recommend?
PR has to be very, very consistent. A lot of companies tend to do, we are talking about public relations here. So,
Mm-hmm.
for the sake of the audience, right, it's a public relations campaign which
Mm-hmm.
consists of various strategies. So, for example, first month you're doing a press conference, second month you're disseminating a press release, third month you are on a radio interview with BFM, fourth you are doing, a talk show. So that's more of a PR strategy. Has to be
Mm-hmm.
consistent, has to be across the board, different target audiences, different targeted media, because if you stop, people forget you. So you
Mm.
have
Okay.
to always be top of mind.
Right.
But of course, you don't want to create media fatigue. That every month you're sending out press release. The problem in media fatigue, it arises when you are targeting the same media over and over again. So you don't want to do
Okay.
that either. So you want to like spread your your content, or your spread your messaging across the board. So it boils down back to your PR plan. So if
Mm.
so hence, a shameless plug here, if you need help coming up with the PR plan, go to publicity.io, and the virtual PR guru can help you.
So I do wonder, what is the name of your PR guru? Is it MK?
Okay. Yes. One of the virtual PR guru is MK.
It's
Uh,
MK.
but no, actually, these are real people. They are not virtual. AI.
Oh,
They are real. I think it's
virtually
time.
connected.
I think it's time that we change the word virtual PR. People will be thinking virtual PR, meaning that it's a AI sort
Okay,
of thing.
I gotta ask this question. We have a next question, but I'm gonna ask this question first. I think people have been talking about metaverse. They've been talking about metaverse a lot. Is publicity.io gonna catch on to that game as well? Going metaverse, taking your virtual PR assistant, to conduct it or to deliver it using the metaverse. Any plans with that?
Definitely, definitely. We PR people, we are not supposed to be left behind. We are supposed to
Mm.
be part of any emerging trend.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so if there is a need for us to be part of the metaverse and to create a virtual sort of, we can create a virtual PR agency there with virtual,
Yeah.
PR consultants sitting there, right? We can do
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I look forward to meeting you in your metaverse, at your virtual PR agency. Okay, let's
Yeah.
move on to the next question. Okay, so we've got Safety here. Thank you for sharing, Manminder. I would like to ask a question for the small businesses. They might not have enough budget for PR. What are the first steps that they can do to build their digital PR for to be more effective? For example, yep. Kind of like
Okay.
adjusted the question a bit. Yep.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Safety. Safety. What the coolest thing about PR is that PR is free. Honestly, PR is actually free. If you have time to sit down, and if you are an owner of a small business, you just need to write a good press release, and of course, examples or samples of a good press release are all online. You can start with that. So if you want to make an announcement, do it. and you can distribute it, you can send it to all the media titles relevant to your target audience. So you
Mm.
can actually do that. So, and if it gets picked up, it's zero cost, you're not paying anything, contrary to advertising where you actually have to pay. For example, you're running Facebook ads, you're paying, Google ads, you're paying. PR is actually free. So if you want to do that, not enough budget, you can start. If you have a big more budget, get a freelance writer who can assist you. If you have slightly more budget, then you can get you can use. But anyway, publicity.io is also a free tool. When you sign in, you get 10 credits for free. So it gives you
Mm.
a media database. You can use that, send out your press release, media invitation. So
Mm.
platforms like publicity.io are definitely useful for you to kickstart your PR campaign.
So if I can summarize, if you can't afford to pay somebody else, you must learn do yourself lah. Basically, do it yourself. And there are ways. I think
And it's free.
traditionally,
And it's free. People think
right?
PR is expensive. If they
Yes,
want to get
yes,
coverage in Brita Harian, they're like, oh my god, I really want to get coverage in Brita Harian. And I think it's a
yeah, yeah,
tedious task. No, it's not. Just
yeah.
write a good story and send it to Brita Harian. If it's newsworthy, you will definitely get picked up.
Traditionally, I think, or I hear stories about how PR folks have to like belanja, treat the media to like teh tarik, coffee, to get them to prioritize your stories. So that's where the payment, I guess, goes to when people see that PR costs money, because you have to engage somebody to actually try to get your story into media. But what I like about publicity.io is that you provide this platform that media can come on board, and they can use it to actually explore um, all the different types of stories that people have to share with them, and they can actually use it to organize the stories according to what they can do. Like they can quickly filter, I guess they can quickly filter.
No, no, no. Just
And,
just to cut you off this. Sorry, Manish.
okay,
Just want to
go
correct you
ahead.
there. I think the coolest part there is that the media can monetize from publicity.io.
Right. Okay. Tell
So
us a
when
bit more about that.
so we have created a win-win
Okay.
between brands and the media. So, for
Okay.
example, brands can select whichever publications that they want.
Right.
We are just the publicity is just the platform, the middle person in a way. So let's
Mm.
just say the brand picks that content. They go like, hey, this is suitable for us.
Yeah.
The media, the news site monetizes. So we are
Mm.
empowering brands
Mm-hmm.
to select whichever publication that they want,
Mm.
contrary to a press release distribution or a wire service.
Right.
When you use a wire service or a distribution service, you do a mass blasting
Right.
and you hope one it gets picked up,
Mm.
or even if it gets picked up, you it's an obscure site. Most of them are affiliate sites. They are not tier 1, tier 2 sites. So
Right.
here we are giving you an option to pick the Star, we are giving you the Sun, we are giving you Compass, Antara,
Mm.
which
Mm-hmm.
are top tier
Oh,
publications in the region.
they are. Yeah.
So you upload your press release. Now the
Right.
editor of Compass, the team, will say, hey, this content is good. So now media, they
Right.
are empowered to get good content and monetize. And monetization is
Ah.
important for a news site these days.
Yeah. Yeah.
The revenue stream, why not get paid when you publish good content? So
Mm.
that's the power of publicity.io.
So you're kind of like you're changing the game for PR actually. It's not like before, where people are kind of like trying to get these free coverages, but now you're empowering media so that they can monetize from good stories that they can pick from publicity.io. I see. This is amazing. Um, The other feature that I like about publicity.io is that I'm not confined to just Malaysian media. I noticed that you can also look for media from outside of Malaysia. So if I'm a brand that's looking at exporting, right, and then I'm trying to organize my promotions and I want to look at PR coverage to the country that I am going to, say I'm going for an expo, for example, or I'm already ready to set up my first outlet there. So I can technically reach out to media in the countries that you cover, so that I can immediately get media coverage. I don't have to like go there and get to know the market, spend time, and try to find media, right? How many
Exactly.
countries? How many countries you guys cover now, MJ?
We are global now.
Nice.
We are truly global. So if you are looking for Middle East,
Hmm.
we have partnered with Associated Press, and we can
Nice.
get you
Nice.
guaranteed coverage there.
Nice.
If you're looking at Singapore, if you're
Hmm.
looking at Thailand, if you're looking
Hmm.
at China, so we have gotten for our international distribution. I mean, for international guaranteed coverage, we have partners that are already there.
Yep.
For the region here, Southeast Asia, it's all on board with us, our partners,
Right.
because I think the coolest part here is that they monetize from us, and when
Hmm.
and they monetize not as advertorial. They are not forced to take that content. Advertorials, they're like, oh,
Ah.
I have to publish. You choose to publish, you get
Money.
monetized.
Yep.
Yeah, you get money. If you don't, it's okay. It's a
It's a
win-win for both.
win-win. Exactly. It's awesome. Okay, so we've got one more question. Let me post that. Okay, so this is from Tita. What are some of the challenges that you faced in PR? And based on your experience, how is the solutions to what are the solutions to solve these challenges? Any that you have not mentioned earlier, I guess, because we've talked a lot about some challenges during the session.
Yeah, I think here is where I want to bring in more of my personal experience.
Okay.
When I made the jump from journalism to PR, I was shocked at the because journalism we are like treated with that so much of respect, and people like wait for you, and then when you go to PR you have to be more of the person who takes care of all these things. But I was just shocked at the level where journalists did not want to talk to PR people. They hated PR people. They used to
Oh,
slam down phones.
oh,
You know, yeah, you get scolded by editors. You're like, hello. And
yeah,
as much as I wanted to, my vision was to change that practice. I
right.
didn't want my PR people to be doing that, to keep calling and to do follow-ups. Unfortunately, so we have to do that. So that's why we came up with Super Newsroom. We
Mm,
said, hey, you know what? Why don't we send an email, a media
yeah,
invitation to a journalist, and there are buttons embedded in the media invite. So instead of us
right.
calling and harassing them, obviously we have to because we need to know the RSVP.
Yes,
You can
yes.
just click. So, but unfortunately, they don't click either. So we are back to
Oh,
square.
right.
We are like still calling. So then finally, the last part was like, I'm sending out press releases on behalf of my clients as a PR.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting coverage. And
Mm,
then and I'm calling and I'm checking. The thing is, the landscape has really changed, Manisa. You can't believe how it has changed, that right now we're looking at a success rate of 10%. If you are sending a general distribution of a press release,
right, right,
your
right.
success rate of accepted to publish or even
10%.
for a pitch, 10%.
Oh,
So low.
low.
Really.
So, but that low is normal. That is normal.
No, it used to be very high. Now it's
Oh,
extremely low
well, what
because of
caused it? Yeah, what happened?
thanks to COVID.
Ah,
Most media news sites started applying the home for work from home concept. So they had to, of course, downsize their workforce. If
hmm,
where previously you had 100 journalists going out to cover stories now maybe only have 10.
Yeah.
So all those factors are making it. So we've said, you know what, enough. Let's now change the game.
Mm.
I'm going to give you a press release.
Mm.
If you're going to publish it, great. You know, you said you need to monetize, brand, you need media coverage.
Yeah.
That's it. We are not going to send you unnecessary blastings. We
Right.
are not going to send you unnecessary, we are not going to call you. You
Right.
partner up, and that's going to be the future of PR. That is going to be the
Yeah.
future.
I think you just reminded me of a fact that you yourself used to be a journalist, and I can see clearly how there's a lot of empathy for them that you've built into publicity.io, and I think that's why that there is it is clearly a tool not just for the marketers, for the businesses, but it is also for the media, because it covers their, I guess, what they see as a gain and what they see as a pain. You're creating more gain by giving them access to better, good quality stories, and of course, if they cover the story, they publish the story, they can monetize, and that effectively reduces the pain, because having to go through lots of I guess shitty stories, not good stories, is
Yes.
time that they do not have. And I think with the fact by the fact that media itself has had to downsize their team because of COVID, that means they need to be optimum. And I think publicity.io can actually provide them that optimization that they need. I think so. Yeah. So I think there's a lot more actually that I would like to find out from you, but I'm not going to get you to spill all the beans, because we are going to see you back in the masterclass for Turbocharge Live 2022. And this year, Supercharge Lab, Turbocharge Live 2022 is going to be featuring Publicity IO together with 16, no, sorry, another 15 marketing technology, together with the speakers of our panel sessions. So we have a total of 48 speakers. And this year, we're going to cover B2B and B2C as well. So for marketing technopreneurs like Publicity.io, we are even rolling out the deal seekers. Not just to say that we are copying you Publicity.io, but we are inspired by your story that on how you are helping media by being able to get good quality stories. With Supercharge Lab, Turbocharge Live, we also want to help the technopreneurs like Publicity.io get more deals, have more visibility of the marketers who want to use your tool, so that after the conference, you guys can approach them, and then try to promote further Publicity.io, so that they will come on board and come and meet the virtual assistant, MK. Okay, not just you lah, everybody else. Okay, so they can also use Publicity.io to reach out to media and get the publicity and also the credibility that we all feel that businesses deserve, right? And we're talking about positive credibility that media that can provide, and it is how we can facilitate the win-win situation, the win-win arrangement between business, the marketers, and media. And with that, thank you so much, MK, for coming on board today, for joining me at Sembang Marketing Tech. We've promised each other to have a meal together, or at least have teh tarik, and that's not happened yet. So this is kind of like the replacement in the meantime. But let's try to catch up soon. I'm really, really excited. I'm really, really looking forward to your session in October. It's going to be on 7th or 8th October. So for everybody who is watching out there, please join us and make sure that you catch MK's masterclass. I still share the masterclass that she shared last year, that she was in last year. MK is very generous with knowledge. and she wants to make a lot more good PR riders out of us, and she wants to educate the marketers so that we can take advantage of PR in a better way. So please make sure that you catch MK, and thank you again, MK. Look forward to seeing you in October.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate the opportunity and looking forward for Turbocharge Live 2022.
Okay.